Optic is a special kind of code generator because in addition to writing code, it can also help you edit that code and maintain it throughout the lifetime of your project. So to create something new, you just type a query into Optic and it'll stream right over to the native app. So we're going to create a hello world route. We'll make it a GET request. We'll add a query parameter for name, and we'll add a 200 response. Now, for most code generators, you wouldn't be able to edit this code. It would be one and done, and if you change it, you'd have to manually update it yourself. In Optic, though, it can actually read that code back in. So as you can see over here, we have all of those hyperparameters that we set pulled out and available within Optic. And I can change them manually, and you'll see them update there over on the right. And I can also change things in my code using Optic. So I'll make this say hello world. I'll hit approve, and then you'll see my code instantly updates. I can even change more complicated things. So let's actually make this route functional and have it return the text hello and then my name. So I'll type in hello, add a plus, do request query.name, and if I ran this route, there'd be a GET request. Actually, I changed it to a POST request that would return hello and then my name. Now this capability is very important because it allows you to work with existing projects that you've written either months or years ago, and it allows you to use Optic throughout the lifetime of your project. Here's an example of a more complicated app that we've built with Optic. Most of the functionality you see here, like updating these to-do items, rendering them, allowing you to add new ones, was all created by using the transformations feature in Optic. Now, when we were developing this tool, what we realized is that most of programming is simply mapping one kind of code to another. For example, you have forms and you have to get that lined up with your state management system. Your networking code has to be in sync with your API. Your APIs end up looking a lot like your schemas do. And Optic is able to automate all of these kinds of mappings between different code using its feature called transformations. So let's make a transformation right now. So I've got this code selected, and just like before, you can see that Optic extracts all the parameters. But there's also another tab here. This is the Create tab, and it shows a list of transformations that are available to me. So there's a transformation that appears for a Create route, a Get route, and a Get Many route. And when I click on one of these, you'll see that Optic adds it automatically to my code. It ends up being a route here, and I can add other code to it just like any other part of Optic. And it even includes a query and the responses. So now that I have a route, I can try to transform that again. Let's see what else is available. And it looks like I can turn this into a request using request.js. So I'll click that, and voila, now I have networking code that'll actually connect to that route and pass it a task and an is done, which is what it requires. So this is a cool little example of how I might do this all in the same file, but what you want to see is how I use this to build this to-do app. So here's the results of transforming that model into our create route, into a route to get a single to-do, our route to get multiple to-dos, and the route we use to update the to-dos. And this is a combination of Optic generated code and then code that I added in to do a few extra things around the edges. Here in the API calls.js in my client, you can see that I have request.js requests that I've generated, and I can make another one right here. So I'll just do request from route, and as you can see, the options it presents me are all routes that I showed you in the other file. So I hope it's clear how much easier transformations make it to develop an app quickly. Now let's show you how you would maintain that app using Sync. So let's say you've generated an entire app using Optic, and now you need to go back and change something in that initial model, like you want to add a created app field or maybe even a due date field. So normally in any kind of other development, you'd have to go through and manually make changes everywhere in your app. With Optic, you just hit sync, and the tool will automatically generate a pull request for you. So you'll see it pop open right here, and it'll say, because your to-do model is updated, Optic is going to suggest changes to a route and a request. So here's the route it's updating. You can see it added the due date field. And Optic's also smart enough to realize that because it's updating a route and this request in API calls.js is dependent on that route, we also need to change that too. So you hit apply and Optic will make the changes to your code just like that. So Optic's able to do these things between projects, so you could have something on your back end that syncs with your front end. And syncing things like this that are very tedious saves developers a whole lot of time, reduces the risk of bugs, and it just makes the development process a whole lot better. So I guess I'm the man behind the curtain, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Before I sign off, I just want to tell you a little bit about why we're doing this. Our mission is to help developers do their best work, and we think that people do their best work when they get to focus on the most important work. So we've designed Optic to automate all of the tasks that developers and their teams really don't have any reason to do. The things that computers are really good at, like mapping things automatically between different representations. So that's really what we're focused on. We want to augment your team, let you do your best work, and we hope that this version of Optic, or one that comes out not too far in the future, really helps you work better and do more. So thank you for watching. We hope to have you as a user, and please reach out anytime. You'll get me directly, and we can talk about ways to make the product better and make your process of development better. Thank you so much.